Good evening, students. Welcome to the live coaching classes organized by Board of Studies ICI. Today's session, we will learn a couple of important aspects with respect to import and export procedural aspects. The compliance points where goods are going to get into India, goods are going to leave out of India. Also connected aspects with respect to baggage routes. As a custom, please let me know you are able to listen my audio. Also, you can see my PowerPoint presentation properly. Yesterday's previous session, there was a couple of escalations saying that there is an issue with the Board of Studies app. We have escalated this issue and they have sorted it out. And thanks for the confirmation, Kaushiki. In fact, the technical people have tried to reach you today evening, Kaushiki. Ashok is the concerned person's name. In case if you have any difficulty, please reach out to this gentleman. He'll be able to help you out. And thanks for the confirmation. So what we will do, we will quickly run into today's session's coverage. Examination, sir, what can we expect? Maximum 3 marks is the weightage what you can expect. So I'll explain you what is baggage routes, concept of transit and transshipment, a theory question which you can expect. In relation to baggage routes, a problem can be expected with respect to provisions connected with baggage. And provisions connected with stores, what do you mean by stores? What is the importance of this concept called stores under customs law? Then basic procedure aspects of import-export under this provisions. Then finally, custodian of goods. We discussed in second session or first session of customs law, where I was talking about pilferage, damage or loss, destruction. So there is a custodian of customs area. We will try to understand who is a custodian and the connected provisions in this regard. And to make it interesting, I'll give you a couple of simple examples. Just one. Yeah. To make this discussion a little interesting, I'll take you through a couple of examples where you can feel importance of these provisions. Say for a moment, Mr. X visits abroad. Say for employment. After 1 year, he returns back to India with the following goods. He comes back with a laptop. Say he comes back with his personal belongings. And it's a personal belongings, the basic needs for one to survive. Then maybe say your some of appliances, say electronic appliances. These days, generally, when we see people who come back from abroad, we ask them to get a handset or maybe iPad or maybe some other electronic appliances, gadgets. Probably, in addition to this, if they're shock of if they have the habit of smoking, maybe say cigar, or maybe something else called souvenir. Souvenir S-O. Souvenir are generally travel objects which are which represent the place. Like if you visit a place called Ajanta and Ellora, you'll get this marble items which represent saying that near Ajanta and Ellora it is known for caves. There will be marble articles like elephant article, or maybe camel article, or maybe Taj Mahal made of this marble. So places like wherever we visit, the importance of that place will be shown by way of the objects. Say if you visit Malaysia, you have these keychains and jute items which are made of jute objects. So like every place has got some important tiny objects which are generally a symbolic representation of that particular place. Similarly, if you visit down south, there's a place called Hampi. So when you visit Hampi, toys are well known in the place Hampi. So all these Krishna Devaraya, that point in time, what are the gadgets available? Those are the items which we will see as tourist objects. So generally, souvenir refers to those objects which are identical or symbolical of a particular place. So this we technically call as a souvenir. So when these items are brought back into India, now this will be called as a imports. This will be called as a imports. Now when I say imports, then there is a customs duty which gets attracted on these items. Customs duty has to be paid. Now these items which are brought back, they are technically called as baggage, right? So this is one particular important provision. One of the interesting provision in today's class, we will level Southeast, say Abu Dhabi or Qatar, etc. The price of ornaments is pretty cheaper compared to Indian market. So generally we have a tendency whenever we travel overseas, whichever items are available at a better price than the local market, we have a tendency to buy there, bring into India. Now what happens here? Those goods which are brought along with you will be considered as a baggage where you have to pay customs duty. So this is one of the important and interesting topic which we can see from today's learning. This is one aspect. In addition to this topic, there are a few more topics which will make you learn today on aspects called basic provisions. Basic provisions for import and export. So here, most of us in the process of articleship, we wouldn't have dealt with the customs provisions. So when goods have to be imported, what is the process involved? Like how does the entry of a vessel or an aircraft or a vehicle happens into the customs station? Once the entry happens, what is the responsibility of the owner of that particular aircraft or vessel or vehicle with respect to intimation to the customs officer? Then once the permission is given, once the entry permission is given, how the goods are brought into customs area. From here, what is the role of a custodian? Custodian is a person who operates or owns a particular customs area. Like we have Container Corporation of India, we call them as CCI. This Container Corporation of India, they are the large players who are called as custodian, where any goods coming to customs place, this CCA will be monitoring the goods which are unloaded from a vessel or aircraft till the duty payment is made and the goods are clear for home consumption. How this custodian will be working thereupon. And in this process, we have something to do with filing of bill of entry, assessment. What is your basic assessment of duty, the definition, what we learned in the first class. Then payment of duty. What is the mechanism for payment of duty? In this, we have something called electronic cash ledger. There is one amendment which happened on 30th November 2022. So there is this amendment being one of the amendment happened prior year May 2023 ATM. So probably maybe a question for 2 marks can be expected from this electronic credit ledger. Similar provisions, all aspects with respect to exports also, we'll have a detailed discussion. This is a basic overview what you can expect from today's class. And students, please don't take things too technical. I'll make this as practical, as simple as possible for you to understand, digest, and be prepared for your exams. And please download this presentation material and also one Excel file I have shared as a working note for today's class. What I have done is I have taken few examples with respect to valuation for us to practice once again today before we get into import and export related provisions. All of you, please download that Excel file and let us start our practice problems once again on the topic called valuation. Valuation under customs law. Hope you are able to see my Excel file. Please confirm. Hope you are able to see my Excel file. Yes, Kaushik. On personal belongings also, there is an exposure of customs duty. Not all personal belongings. Once I get into the baggage provisions, you will have a better clarity to understand. Right? Now, let's start with our first problem. Problem number 1. From the below information, compute the value of goods to be assessed for customs duty. So they are asking us to calculate the value of goods to compute the customs duty. Now, they have given CAF of the goods $850. Point number 1, CAF value of the goods is $850. Conversion rate on the date of filing bill of entry, that is 12th August 2021, is INR 76 per dollar. This is on the date of filing bill of entry. Next, different second rate they have given. The conversion rate on the date of entry of vessel, that is on 20th August 2021, $1 was worth INR 78. Third, they have given one more rate. Conversion rate as per the authorized dealers data for foreign remittance, $1 is worth INR 74.50. So people are listening to me. Please give your answer. Value of goods CAF is $850. Value of goods CAF is $850. So please give me your answer. What will be the value in INR? Value for customs under section 14. I have 3 different rates. The date I filed bill of entry, it is 76. The day I filed got the entry of vessel into the customs station, 78. Then the rate given by authorized dealer, 74.5. Please give your answers. ETS is 64,600. Perfect. Mansa is 850 into 76. Perfect, Mansa. Balaji says 64,600. Raman says 64,600. All of you are right. For the purpose of my conversion, I will take the rate prevalent on the date of filing bill of entry. So answer would be 850 into my conversion rate 76. I get 64,600. INR 64,600. All of you are right, man. Let's move to the next question. Now, FOB value of goods exported. The day when I have FOB value of goods exported is Singapore dollars 11,450. For that, they have given 3 different rates. Conversion rate as per RBI, 1 Singapore dollar is worth INR 65. 1 Singapore dollar is worth INR 65. Conversion rate as per customs on the date of filing shipping bill is 1 Singapore dollar is worth 66. Rate prevalent on the date of giving the order, that is let export order. 1 Singapore dollar is worth 68. 1 Singapore dollar is worth 68. So I have 3 dates here. One is RBI rate. Second is your on the day when you filed your shipping bill. Third is your the day when let export order was passed. 68, 66, 65. And value of goods exported is 11,450. Give your answer. Which rate we have to take into consideration? Give your answer. Should I take RBI rate? Should I take shipping bill date? Or should I take let export order date? Balaji says 755,700. Geeta says 755,700. Raman says 778,600. When I filed my shipping bill. So accordingly, my rate of the value should be converted on the basis of 66 and 11,450 into 66 happens to be 755,700. 755,700. This is your answer. Raman, hope you are clear, ma. Please check once again. Yes, Geeta, you're right. It's going to be shipping bill date. Now, these are all 1 mark MCQ questions which will be tested as a examination point. Now, let's move on to second question. This is little important. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Compute the value for the purpose of assessing customs duty payable on the basis of below information. They have given the amounts in foreign currency, that is US dollar. Point number 1, value of goods 23,500. Second, inspection charges before dispatch 450. Third, loading and unloading charges till the port of loading 640. Fourth, insurance charges 280. 5, freight charges till the place of importation 1,800. Information given. Exchange notified by the customs INR 78 per dollar. Rate of customs duty 35%. Social welfare surcharge 10%. IGST 12%. Goods are imported by air. So here we are asked to find out what is the duty payable. So point number 1, on the basis of given information, please let me know what is the CAF value. For the purpose of customs, I will take cost, insurance, freight. On that, I will do the assessment. All of you, please let me know what is my CAF value. What will be the study? Mansi says 23,500 plus 450 plus 640 plus 280 plus 1,800. All put together 26,006. Mansa, there is a small error, ma. I think you have taken loading and unloading charges $60. It is $640, ma. Please check your calculation once again. Don't be in a hurry. Please be patient. Be patient. Look carefully and solve. Raman says CF value is 24,870. Let us check. Let me wait for one more answer. Then let us solve the problem. Mansa, revise your answer and let me know. Geeta says 26,670. Good. So let's understand what we have to do. I don't say you're wrong. All of you keep one thing in mind. We are appearing for CA final. So definitely, the question is not going to be straight vanilla concept. Something is there which we have to understand, on the basis of which this problem has to be solved. So to have a quick recap, I draw your attention to section 14. Open your institute material. Let me see the respective page number. Yeah. Before the valuation rules, we have valuation of goods on the basis of section 14. In case of goods, transaction value shall be point number 2. Price actually paid or payable when sold from export from India. That is in case of exports. In case of imported goods, transaction value shall be price actually paid or payable for delivery at the time and place of importation, where the buyer and seller of the goods are not related. Price is the sole consideration. So here, what is the value I have to pay is something which we need to take into consideration. Price actually paid or payable for the goods when sold for export to India. Right? Now here, I have to take into consideration something called the value till the place of export. Now look at the given information. Value of goods is given. Inspection charges before dispatch is given. Loading and unloading charges till port of loading is given. Now, loading and unloading charges till the place of importation. If I mention place of importation for a moment, this information what you have here, please observe carefully. Loading and unloading charges till port of loading, till place of importation. There is a huge difference where the goods come to the place of port, where the goods are exported from the source point. Place of importation, where the goods come into India, till the place of customs station. So this is going to make a difference. Now, when they have given this information, that means to say, my cost is to be included with my value of goods, inspection, loading and unloading charges till the place of port of loading. From there, the insurance, from there, the freight will be starting. This is how we need to understand. So here, they have not given your value of goods till the what do you call free on board. As the name says, FOB, free on board, that is till the port of FOB indicates value of goods in port of export. So here we have to know what is the value relevant there. From there, insurance, from there, the freight assessment. Now here in the given information, they say goods are imported by air. So when they say goods are imported by air, reference to Rule 10 for cap on freight, that is 20% of FOB. This is one aspect we need to check. I repeat, whenever you get this information, with respect to freight, answer has to be clearly examined as per the provisions of rule number 10. Where have I taken this FOB value? On FOB value, what is 20%? Is the freight exceeding 20%? Is the freight is within 20%? This is one aspect we have to check mark. So here, coming to the starting point, first I'll say my FOB value. FOB value is going to be free on board $23,500, $450 plus loading and loading charges till the port of loading. This is going to be 24,590. 24,590. Now, this is my FOB value. Freight charges as per rule 10. What is the freight I have paid? I have paid 1,800. I have paid 1,800, which is my actual freight charges. But as per rule 10, what it says, my freight charges in relation to import by air, it is having a cap of 20% of FOB value. Now, what is 20% of FOB value? 24,590 into 20% is 4,918. So my freight actually I have paid is much lesser than the rule 10 provisions. So what I'll do, least of these two, I'll say minimum of 4,918, 1,800. I have given a formula. 1,800 is going to be my freight charges for the purpose of this problem. Moving further, insurance. Insurance is going to be 280 rupees. Insurance is going to be 280 rupees. Now, till now, this is where we got the value called 26,670. Answer may be right, but the approach, presentation, evaluation, we have to be careful. At times, we will be lucky enough, though we don't know the provisions, we'll land up in the correct answer. At times, the lucky stars are not in our favor. We may do a mistake. So here, for a moment, freight charges, I'll make a presumption called 5,000. For a moment, if I change the answer, freight charges for 5,000. Now, please examine your position. All of you would have done this way. Add up all these things, 29,870. That is the value for customs. But don't go in this fashion. When they have given some information, it's called broken pieces. They have given information in a distorted fashion. That point in time, we have to evaluate what is relevant, what is irrelevant, right? So here I've got 26,670 as my total transaction value, in foreign currency. Now, what is the conversion rate? They have given 78 rupee per dollar. So my value in INR is going to be 26,670 into 78. I'll get a foreign currency of 20,80,260. Value in INR, transaction value 26,670 into 78. Now, basic customs duty, they have said 35%. So what we will do on 20,80,000 into 35%. I'll get my basic customs duty 7,28,091. Everyone, please do along with me. Basic customs duty, 20,80,260 into 35%. We will get 7,28,091. Now, on that, social welfare surcharge, 7,28,000 into 10%. I'll get my value of social welfare surcharge, 7,28,000, 72,809. On 7,28,091, 10% social welfare surcharge, 72,809. Now, for the purpose of IGST, my basic value will be value of goods 20,80,000, basic customs duty plus social welfare surcharge. That comes to 28,81,160. 28,81,160. 28,81,160. On that, my IGST happens to be 28 lakhs into rate of IGST 12%. 3,45,739. 3,45,739. Mansa, please check your answer, ma. Till value, you have done calculations correctly. Basic customs duty at the rate of 35%, you have entered 8091. I think you have maybe typing error or something. Please cross check your answer carefully. Till 20 lakhs, your answer is right, Mansa. Basic customs duty, they have said rate of duty is 35%. Maybe some sin goods where the rate of duty is very higher. 7,28,091 happens to be basic customs duty. On that, 72,809 happens to be the social welfare surcharge. Then value for IGST 20 lakhs plus 7,28,000 plus 72,028,81. Total duty payable. My total customs duty I have to pay 7,28,000 plus 72,809 plus 3,45,000. Always in examination, put your final answer. Where total duty payable you have to indicate. Don't forget to do the total duty payable computation. In the current answer, 11,46,639. 11,46,639. Hope all of you are with me till now. Hope you have got the same answer. Let me know if any one of you have a different answer where you need clarification. I'll help you with the computation. Great. Examination, please remember 4 marks minimum you will get, 6 marks is the maximum. So 4 marks easily you can score if you know these provisions. Now, point number 3, question number 3. This is little elaborative than your previous problem. Now, examine the below information. And compute the value to be considered for determination of transaction value as per Section 14 of Customs Act 1962. The respective rules. Amount in euros. The transactions details they have given. Point number A. Value of goods manufactured 48,200 euros. Inspection and testing charges before dispatch. 485 euros. Design and drawings paid by the importer for installation of machinery in India. Design and drawing charges paid by the importer for installation of machinery in India. Point number D. Tools sent to manufacturer at subsidized cost. Actual value of goods 850 euros. 850 euros. Clause number E. Royalty fee payable at the rate of 3% on the supply value made by the importer 1446. Royalty fee payable 1446 euros. Buying commission paid by the importer Mrs. XYZ & Co. 2,410 euros. Note, value of goods exported for rupees 48,200 euros. It is assumed that royalty is not included. So they have given that whatever royalty we are going to pay, this royalty is not included in your 48,200 euros. So they have asked us to calculate the transaction value as per provisions of section 14. I'll give you 2 minutes. Work out the answer and let me know. Then we will discuss on this. I'll give you 2 minutes. Please work out and give your answer. Once you are done, we will discuss the final answer. Examination, mere addition will not be sufficient. You have to substantiate your answer along with reasons also. When you are giving your answer, always you have to refer why you are adding something, why you are not adding something. Only on that basis you will get your marks. For a moment, if you have added something without giving a reason why that should be added, half mark would be deducted, though you get a right answer. Yes, Kaushik, they are not given any information about CAF or FOB. They just gave the basic information. This is on the basis of Rule 10. Rule 10, what will be the value of the goods? Maybe from here, you can do the computation of transaction value. They have not given insurance, they have not given freight. So what we can do, we can calculate the basic transaction value on the basis of given information where what needs to be added, what needs to be deducted or ignored from the given purchase transaction. This is not a complete 6 marks problem, Kaushik. This is just extract of some portion. Where, how do we apply Rule 10? When you solve this problem, please refer to Rule number 10. On the basis of Rule number 10, you give your answer. Mansa says design charges paid by the importer, buying commission are not to be considered. Buying commission is not same as purchase commission. 100% correct, Mansa. But what is the final answer? I need the final answer. Based on the given inputs, what will be the transaction value? Balaji says 53,491 euros. Okay. Srinivas says 54,141. Okay. Geeta says 51,831. Okay. Geeta says design is not to come. So answer will be 50,981. Okay. So for 3 answers have come and 3 different answers. I'll wait for one more answer. Great. Kaushiki also says 50,981. I have 2 answers telling Geet and Kaushiki, both of your answers are same. Let me do the calculation and tell examine what is the right answer. Now, everyone, attention to my screen. Now, rule 10, cost and services. So when I say value of goods manufactured, this 48,200 is going to be a component for my transaction value. For the purpose of transaction value, this is my study point, CIF, cost, insurance, freight. In this given problem, insurance and freight was not given. Only a portion of rule 10, how we will evaluate the additions as per 10A, sorry, 10.1, 10.2, 10.3. All 10 sub-rule 1, 10 sub-rule 2. These aspects have been tested. Point number B, inspection and testing charges before dispatch. So this amount, inspection and testing charges, are integral, essential parts for computation of my transaction value. So answer, I'll say this has to be considered. I'll say yes. Clause number C, design and drawing charges paid by the importer for installation. Now, when I'm doing an installation activity, which is post-import activity, it is irrelevant for me for my transaction value. Balaji, you have to check this point when you gave your answer. I think this aspect you have overlooked. So this is one aspect I'll say not to be considered. Then, tools sent to manufacturer at subsidized cost. The value of tools is 850 euros, but 100 euros is what was considered by the seller. Now here, when I say subsidized cost, now please refer to your rule 10 where they have given the value apportioned or as appropriate by the following goods and services where supplied directly or indirectly by the buyer, free of charge or at reduced cost. Rule 10, sub-rule 1, clause B. I'll say yes. As per rule 10, sub-rule 1, clause B. As per sub-rule 10B, what they say, any goods which are supplied directly or indirectly by the buyer, either free of charge or at a reduced cost. Now, this being goods given at a subsidized cost, first answer is yes. What value of they take? I'll say the value to be taken here should be 850 euros. Then, royalty fee at the rate of 3%. Royalty fee which was paid at the rate of 3% on the supply. Now, please refer rule number 10, sub-rule 1, clause C. Royalty and license fee related to the imported goods that the buyer is required to pay directly or indirectly as a condition of sale, as a condition of the sale of the goods being valued, if the price is not considered or included. So answer, now in the note they have said that value of goods exported for 48,200 euros, it is assumed that royalty is not included. Since this 48,000 is not including, I'll say this has to be included. I'll say rule 10, sub-rule 1, clause C. Then, buying commission paid by the importer to Mrs. XYZ and Co. Now, some way they say buying commission is something which need not be included. Now, please refer sub-rule 1, clause A, in that point number 1. When you look at your rule 10, sub-rule 1, point A or clause A, in that point number 1, commission and brokerage except buying commission, So this should not be taken into consideration. I'll say no. Rule 10, sub-rule 1, clause A, in that point number 1. This needs to be excluded. So when I do the calculation, 48,200 euros, yes, to be taken. 485 euros, yes, to be taken. Design and drawing, not to be taken. Tools into manufacturing subsidy cost, instead of 100, I have to take 850 euros. This also I have to take into consideration. Then royalty, 1446, yes, to be taken. Buying commission, no, I should not take into consideration. So when I do the total, I get 50,981. Transaction value, or I'll say accessible value. Anything is okay. Transaction value as per section 14. Transaction value as per section 14 is 50,981. 50,981. So both Geeta and Kaushiki, you have got the right same answer now. Concept is correct so far. 50,981. And Srinivas is asking this question. Sir, do we need to quote rule references? Srinivas, I would recommend at least you can quote rule 10 if you don't remember this clause A, B, C. I will not insist that quoting this exact sub-rule 1, clause B, clause A, clause C, in that again, 1, 2, 3. You cannot remember in your examination. But at least rule 10 is something which you can remember. So for getting a better marks, you have to say, as per the provisions of rule 10, this value has to be taken into consideration. As per the value provisions of rule 10, if the tools are goods, mold, tool, jigs, dies supplied at a subsidized cost, the actual cost needs to be considered. The amortization has to be done for the differential cost. So here, this answer will be given in such a fashion. Now, please remember, if at all, this $48,200 euros is already including this 100 euros, then only balance 750 I have to add. Examination, the way arm twisting happens is, they'll give you similar problem with a small change. What they'll say, like I have given royalty here, or they'll also give next point. I'll write here how it looks like. They'll give a second note saying that, note number 2, value of goods includes tool charges of 100 euros. So here, if the amortization has to be done or the subsidized cost is there, what is the differential amount which was not taken into consideration? That we will take into picture. So by chance, if 100 euros was taken into consideration, what we will do is, we will just take here 750 euros. Here, instead of 850, I'll take 750. So just look for the given information. Keep your eyes wide open when you read the problem carefully. Hope this is clear, ma? Srinivas, hope I've clarified your point, ma? Great. So now we'll come back to today's discussion. Let me quickly come back to my presentation. So first point, baggage. So here, when we talk about baggage, simple way to make you understand, baggage includes unaccompanied baggage, but does not include motor vehicle. Like baggage, generally when we refer in customs law, all your personal belongings plus your household items or purchases what you have done overseas. Now, this is something which generally we call as a baggage. So goods which come along with you are to be considered as baggage. So why is it so specific attention given or why this provision is given such an importance under customs law? Examination, expect 3 marks question from baggage provisions, a theory question or a problem. For a moment, if this concept of baggage is not discussed, any person who does trade, who generally buys goods or imports goods into India, exports goods out of India, what they will do? They will try to use this transportation as a mode of means to bring the goods into India escaping the customs route. Take up for a moment, imagine the boundaries of India, northeastern portion or eastern portion. You have this Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, and this Sri Lanka. Now, Sri Lanka is extreme important. Nepal, Bhutan, and this Myanmar. These are very, very close proximity where, especially Nepal and Bhutan, by train or by vehicle, you can come into India. So it could so happen that, take it for an instance, let's take an example. Say Geeta is a businessman who's there in Nepal. Say Kaushik is another trader who's there in West Bengal. Now, Geeta always, like morning, there is a bus at 10 a.m. She gives 2 laptops to, say, Praveen. Praveen gets into the bus. He comes into West Bengal and he unboards at West Bengal, gives these laptops to, say, Kaushiki. Again, Praveen will go back to Nepal. Because the connectivity is by road, it takes hardly maybe half an hour to 1 hour. So this is how the glutter happens, the trade happens, the commodities come into India without any check. For that reason, this baggage rules, baggage provisions are brought in. They want to keep a watch, they want to keep a custody, the control on what components are coming into India, how these components are coming into India, and what customs provisions have to be dealt with. So definition says it includes unaccompanied baggage. Now, includes is good enough to leave the space to think or create. When the definition is baggage means, that means they have defined what to be included. Baggage includes, so it is a open-ended sentence sort of thing. Everything comes and sits here. Like the definitions we have, define the term goods, define the term services. What do you mean by services? Anything other than goods can be called as services. That's how the space has been created for the term called services. So here, baggage includes unaccompanied baggage. Baggage which is there with you, baggage which is not accompanied. Maybe it's there in a bogie where the flight, when we get into the flight, there is something called hand baggage, there is something called unaccompanied baggage. So what you give for the airport, not the transport authority, these people, to bring as a luggage, that's called unaccompanied baggage. And it does not include motor vehicle. Fortunately, you cannot bring a motor car as a baggage. So when you're traveling in a train, when you're traveling in a bus, when you're traveling in a flight, when you're traveling in the ocean, generally, you can bring your personal belongings or you can bring your luggage, but not as a motor vehicle. Motor vehicle, generally, it has to be brought as an import or a goods. So this is an inclusive definition, which is referring to baggage. Next important point, reference to personal belonging. This is one point, personal belonging, household goods, gifts and souvenirs for discussion. Now, personal belonging, what all we can imagine. So like for a moment, if you have to travel to Singapore, say there is a students conference where you're going to make a paper presentation on taxation in India, maybe the customs provisions. And when you have to travel, what you will do? You're going to have a suitcase. You're going to have your clothes maybe for 2 days. You're going to have laptop. You're going to have your books. You're going to have your maybe some reference material. Now here, laptop, your dress, your reference books. Now when I say reference books, for a moment, you are carrying RK Jain's material. The value of RK Jain material is say 3,900 rupees. When you're coming back from Singapore, you have done your presentation. For a moment, you have been awarded first in your seminar. And out of your gratitude, they have given a gift to you and some souvenirs. Souvenirs, when I say souvenir, please remember, these are the articles. These are articles, not the printed book sort of thing. These are the articles which have a symbolic reference to a particular place. So they have given some gifts to you. What are the gifts? They have given, say, iPad, or they have given some reading electronic book. They have given a voucher which is worth, say, 10,000. You can go to Amazon or Flipkart. You can redeem the voucher for 10,000. And how did they give voucher? They have printed the voucher where it says the first prize is given to, say, Geeta for making a presentation on international taxation. So when you come back, you're coming back with few items, which is called as gift souvenirs. So generally, like, whenever there's big seminars are conducted, out of gratitude, like say South India, generally whenever event is conducted in Tirupati, they give Lord Balaji's Vigraha as a souvenir. And when the seminar gets conducted in, say, Rajasthan, they give this camel, which is made of marble, as a souvenir. So this souvenir is an indication, symbolical, for a particular place. So when you come back into India, they say you're coming with the baggage. What is there in your baggage? Personal belongings, household. Now, when I say household, for a moment, you have forgotten to buy shoes or chappal. So what you've done, you purchased a chappal at over there to manage in your hotel or elsewhere. Now that's going to be a household goods, gifts and souvenirs. In the seminar, whatever was given to you as a gift, whatever given to you as a souvenir, you're going to bring back. All this get composite together as called baggage. This is one important point we need to understand. Now, import general manifest, export general manifest. So generally, we have a person in charge, I call PIC, who could be called as a master or a pilot. In case of a vessel, in case of a aircraft. In case of a vehicle, driver. When I say vehicle, you have this train and bus. Now, for a moment, goods have to be imported to Nepal from Pakistan. If you happen to visualize your India map, if goods have to travel from Pakistan to Nepal, now I can go via sea route. From Pakistan, I have to come all the way bottom, come to Mumbai, from there to Kerala, Tuticorin, from there to Vizag, from there to Mumbai, from there to back to Nepal. Now look at the way. It's going to take maybe 20 days to reach this sea route. Rather, if I want to come by a road or train, Pakistan enters into Haryana, from there enters to middle of the other places and reaches to Nepal. Now there is a connectivity by road, train or vehicle. So in charge of this particular vehicle will be called as a driver. So this person in charge, who is owner, who is controlling this particular conveyance, in both cases, he is required to declare in a separate sheets. So what the law says, any person who is a person in charge has to give a declaration, saying that I, as a master, as a pilot, when I'm bringing this vessel into the customs station, please let me a permission along with my IGM or EGM. Declaration for this baggage has to be made. Declaration has to be made. That means to say, I'll give a simple example so that you can visualize this particular requirement in a better fashion. Generally, when we talk about a train which is meant for passenger transportation will always have a bogie at the beginning, a bogie at the end of the train, which is meant for carrying the goods. So a train which is meant for carrying passengers will also have goods which is forming part of my transport or journey. So when a train is coming, say from Pakistan, it is just getting into the state of say Punjab. When the train is entering, this driver of a train has to give a declaration. Look, I'm going to come into India. I'm carrying passengers. I'm also carrying goods. So when I say goods which are meant for transportation rather than transport, I would say goods which are commercially imported or transshipped. What it means, goods are imported into the state of Punjab by one of the importer. So then I'll say these are the goods I'm getting into the India. So like I have say 10 tons of particular cotton. Out of 10 tons, 8 tons are meant for Punjab, 2 tons are meant for Nepal. He's going to give a declaration. The goods which he is going to give delivery in India, he will say these are the goods. Total, I have 10 tons. Of 10 tons, 8 tons I'm going to import in Punjab. What happens to the balance 2 tons? Transship. He says, so I'm going to take it to Nepal, maybe by train, by bus, or maybe courier. So it gives a declaration that these are the goods commercially brought into India. In addition to this, he'll also give details of baggage. That means, so I have 100 passengers. All these passengers have given declaration that these are their baggages. Now, how does the driver get to know? There is a form called declaration by the owner. Section 77 is a starting point where it says the owner of any baggage shall, for the purpose of clearing it, make a declaration of its contents to the proper officer. Make a declaration of its contents. So here the law says that whenever you get onto a journey, whenever you get onto a particular aircraft or vessel for any journey purpose, you give a form. Why? These goods which are being cleared, you have to give a declaration when you reach your destination. Just like that, you cannot walk. Generally in customs, you have 2 lines. Line number 1, line number 2. Green channel, non-green channel. That means to say, I as a passenger, I don't have any routes on which I have to pay customs duty. Then this is called green channel. No duty. Otherwise, non-green channel. That means to say, when I get into the destination, I enter into the non-green channel. Once I enter into non-green channel, I declare, sir, I have brought, this 5 bottles of alcohol. What is the value of alcohol? So this is a bill available. Okay, they will examine the customs duty payable in India. They will charge customs duty. Or I have imported some CDs and cassettes. Now, maybe I have a flight to music. So I imported maybe 1,000 or maybe 100 CDs into India. Now, I could say that, look, I have a passion to collect, so I brought all these CDs. They'll say, look, these CDs are taxable. So they, whatever classification is there, on the basis of that, they collect the customs duty. Once you pay the duty and get the challan, then you will walk freely out of the non-green channel. This is how the customs aspects work. And for ease, when you watch a couple of movies, when generally people who travel abroad, they steal diamonds, they come to India. They try to put this small diamonds around the water bottle using a bubble gum, or maybe they will have a wig. Within the wig, they will insert that, or drugs. Generally, they use various modes to walk out of a green channel, saying that I am free. Please let me go. I need not pay any customs duty. But in case of baggage, it says that only when you give a declaration, basis of that, you will get to know whether you need to pay your customs duty or not to pay. And this declaration under section 77, this is given to this person in charge of a vessel or aircraft or a vehicle. Basis of your declaration, he is going to in turn make part of, this person in charge is going to make a part of IGM, where he says that, sir, I have 2 aspects to be dealt. First aspect is your goods which are imported for commercial purpose, goods which have come by way of a baggage. This is the starting point for us to understand how the customs officer gets to know that there are baggages available. Let me see if there are any doubts. Assessment provisions with respect to exports and imports available under CTA or CA. Mansa, this is available under Customs Act 1962. Good point. Mansa is asking, sir, should we need to refer Customs Tariff Act or Customs Act? Answer, we need to refer to Customs Act 1962 answer. Why we have to refer Customs Act? Because these are all procedural aspects. I don't ask what is the rate. If I want rate, then I will go to Customs Tariff Act. If I want the procedure, I'll come to my Customs Act. So all these provisions, what we are discussing is as per Customs Act. Then the rate of duty for this particular baggage. Now, as we know, this baggage provisions are important. Why? Because we have to pay the duty. The next aspect is what is the day I have to identify for payment of conversion of that foreign currency to INR, and also what is the rate of duty. So first point with respect to date, they say the rate of duty will be prevalent on the day the rate of duty and tariff valuation. These two will be in relation to baggage should be the rate of valuation in force on the date on which a declaration is made. The day when the declaration is made under section 77, that is the date relevant for my valuation under section 78. And what is the rate? Generally 35% ad valorem. 35% is the rate of duty in case of general rate. So in case of baggages, 35% is my standard ad valorem rate. Then they have something else. What they say, this rate of duty is not applicable in case of firearms, cartridges, firearms exceeding 50, cigarettes. Oh, firearms I have written already here. So let me just remove this. Cigarettes, cigar, or tobacco in excess of the quantity. So they say that in case of a firearm, in case of a cartridge, in case of a cigarette, in case of a cigar, or in case of a tobacco, in these cases, the rate of duty shall be 100% ad valorem. Now, why? These are the items which are of high dangerous in nature or maybe sin goods. So where the rate of duty is not 35%, the rate of duty happens to be 100%. So there is again a standard. Firearms up to 50 cartridges, maybe cigarettes up to 100, cigar maybe up to 25, tobacco up to a specific quantity. So under Customs Act 1962, they have given various limits. Up to this limit you can bring. For example, firearm. What is a firearm? Firearm is something which is for your self-protection. Most of these celebrities, they have a permission from a court to carry a pistol along with them. Along with the pistol, you need to have the bullets. We call them as cartridges, firearm or cartridges. So when these celebrities travel one nation to another nation, there are people who are fond of having various collections. Now, this is a hobby. People who are of particular stature, they have various collections, maybe like cigarette. These are all again a hobby. So the customs provision says that in relation to baggage, there is a threshold limit. Like what? Firearm, cartridges, up to 50 cartridges is a normal ad valorem. Anything above 50, you have to pay 100% customs duty. Cigar, they say 25 is maximum limit I can allow. Cigarettes, 100 pieces is what I can allow. So there is a threshold quantity. There are a few items where there is a general exemption. So under section 79, what they say, proper officer may, subject to rules and regulations made thereof, he may pass an order for free of duty for specific baggage. So there are few goods where there is a permission given for specific baggage to import free without payment of customs duty. What are those items? Personal use of any article in the baggage of a passenger or member of a crew. Please take your working notes, write down, put your heading baggage provisions, put the heading baggage provisions. Under that, general exemption under 79. General exemption under 79. Under that, write on baggage of personal usage, baggage of personal usage for an article, for an article, for an article of a passenger, of a passenger, or member of a crew, member of a crew, member of a crew is generally exempted, is generally exempted, is generally exempted. So what they say to start with, when you talk about these baggage provisions, you have exemption. You have an exemption in case of your personal baggage or member of a crew. Personal baggage, personal use. This is very important. Then they say any article in the baggage, use of passenger or his family. Next bullet point. Baggage meant for self-use, baggage meant for self-use or by a family member, or by a family member, by a family member, comma, meant for bona fide usage, meant for bona fide usage, also exempted, also exempted. So here, along with the person, any family member is there, which is also personal usage, that also will be taken into consideration for giving a exemption. Then, generally, whenever I talk about baggage, baggage can be reference to a passenger, reference to a member of crew. Member of crew, when I say, please visualize your aircraft, vessel, train, or bus. Benefits are limited here. Benefits are limited here. Benefits are wider up to a threshold. Now, whenever we talk about a member of a crew, what happens? This in relation to aircraft, in relation to vessel, like from India, say Mumbai to Singapore, Singapore to say Qatar, again Qatar to Singapore, Singapore back to Mumbai. So when the crew has to travel, say the flight leaves from Mumbai, it reaches to Singapore. The crew will take a rest in Singapore, and a new team comes into the flight. From Singapore, it goes to, say, Qatar. From Qatar, again, the flight comes back to Singapore. This gentleman who took a break at Singapore, again, he joins the journey, comes back to Mumbai. So this crew who travels on a flight or vessel, they may also have a personal belongings, which is called as a baggage. So they have a permission way they can get this consignment called baggage without payment of customs duty. But next slides I'll explain. To a limited extent, they have a benefit. In relation to passenger, there's a wider scope of coverage. When I refer to this baggage can be classified into 3 modes. First mode is personal effects. Second mode, household effects. Third, gift and souvenir. Personal effects. Now, your clothing, the basic needs of a person. What do you mean by basic needs? Maybe the dressing material, your to upkeep your medicines, your other personal belongings, like spectacles. Say I have 2 set of spectacles. One is reading spectacles, another journey spectacles. So I have some, when I travel, always I have a kit called personal kit, which is in addition to my basic survival. Second aspect is called household effects. So when I say household effects, those are the baggage items which are meant for house purpose. Like example, AC. Air conditioner is not a personal effect. Air conditioner is a household effect. Another example, say cassette or a CD. Cassette or a CD is for my music purpose, instrument music purpose. It's not a personal effect. It is a household effect. Third element, gift and souvenir. I could buy a gift. I could get a gift. I could buy a souvenir. I could get a souvenir. So generally, this is how I classify my baggage into three modes. Please understand this classification carefully, students. The exemptions what we have are either to personal effects or to gifts and souvenir or to household effects. Now, this is how you need to understand. If required, please make no entry of this in your working notes. Classification of goods, put this chart. Point number 1, personal effects. Point number 2, household effects. Point number 3, gifts and souvenirs. There's one question from Kaushiki. People hide gold also while coming from Dubai if they're bringing more than permissible limit. Yes. This is where the customs, like this anti-evasion or intelligence people are there who generally have tendency to catch hold of these people who smuggle the goods. Also, Kaushik is asking, sir, what is ad valorem? Ad valorem is nothing but the basis how the duty will be paid. If you refer to section 14, Kaushiki, I have two ways how I pay customs duty. One, I pay customs duty on the basis of a transaction value. Second, I pay on the basis of ad valorem, that is value of goods which is declared. Section 14 has got two mechanisms. First mechanism, I pay on the transaction value. Like example, say when I have imported Dell laptop into India, whatever value is there on the invoice, that is called transaction value. Second example, if I've imported steel into India, the mechanism for levy of duty is ad valorem, where the customs authorities always define this is a value of amount on which you have to pay your customs duty. There, my duty is determined ad valorem on the basis of value of goods. The customs authorities have a right to either go with transaction value or ad valorem, a predetermined value of goods. Second, next question, Mansa is asking, on defense equipment, customs provisions are not covered. Mansa, I believe first session we have discussed this point when we are talking about section 12, levy under Customs Act. Levy, when it says any goods imported into India shall be subjected to customs duty. Point subsection 2, it clearly says even the goods imported by the government shall be construed that as if it's imported into India. That means to say, unless there is a special exemption, all the goods imported by government, non-government authorities or private or public shall be subjected to customs duty. For that moment, even goods imported by defense, unless there is a general exemption, the goods are subjected to customs duty. Hope I've answered your point, Mansa. Now, general duty free baggage allowance. In your institute material, I don't know the page number, under baggage provisions, after a particular table called appendix, you can see one annexure 1, annexure 2, annexure 3. I believe chapter 552, 5.52 is your page number in your institute material. Please come to that particular page. Annexure 1 talks about general duty-free allowance for a baggage. General duty-free allowance for a particular baggage. So when I talk about general duty-free allowance, now look at the language. There is a duty-free allowance, duty-free, which is called general allowance. That means to say, goods are generally permitted. Generally permitted without payment of duty. Without payment of duty. This is the importance of this particular table. So this annexure, they have items called firearms, cartridges of firearms exceeding 50, cigarettes exceeding 100 sticks, cigars exceeding 25, tobacco exceeding 125 grams, alcoholic liquor or wine excess of 2 liters, gold or silver in any form other than ornaments, flat panel, that is LCD, LED, plasma TV. Flat panel TV. Now, these are all called as general baggage elements. So, what they say, when you come into India, in your baggage, if any of these goods are there, which are referred as Annexure 1, there is a duty-free allowance. When I say allowance, there is a limit or there is a threshold. There is a threshold. Like your income tax, your allowance, chauffeur allowance, house rent allowance, conveyance allowance. So the moment allowance comes into picture, there is a threshold limit up to which you need not pay your customs duty. So with respect to my firearms, cartridges, firearms exceeding 50 and all, they say there is these items when forming part of your baggage, there is a general allowance. What is that general allowance? Okay, there are a couple of definitions before the general allowance. In this, one important aspect, tourist. Examination, please expect 1 mark MCQ question. 1 mark MCQ question on tourist. Important. Expect 1 mark MCQ on the basis of tourist definition. Tourist means a person not normally resident in India. Not normally resident in India. Generally, not a resident of India. We can say that. But they say not normally resident in India. And who enters India. This person is coming into India for what? For a stay not more than 6 months. Stay not more than 6 months. If the stay is more than 6 months, he will not be called as a tourist. In the course of any 12 months period of legitimate non-immigrant purpose. In the course of any 12 months period for legitimate non-immigrant purpose. So a person who has come into India as a tourist, a person who is not normally resident of India, and who enters India for a stay less than for a period of 6 months. This is what will be tested as examination. Examination, they'll give you an MCQ. Tourist means a person who is resident of India. Tourist means a person who is not normally resident of India. Tourist means a person who is not normally resident of India, who enters India for a stay less than 3 months. Who enters India for a stay less than 6 months. Who enters in India for a stay less than 9 months. That's how MCQ questions will be tested. For ease, tourist means 6 months is the maximum gap you can keep. Next, personal effects. This is one another important definition. Personal effect means things required for satisfying daily necessity. Now, there is no definition given for daily necessity. We, as a person, we have to prove that, so this is my daily necessity. For me, my goggles are daily necessity. For you, someone who doesn't wear spectacles, for them it's not a daily necessity. Maybe it's a want. There's a difference between need and a want. What is a need is going to be a daily necessity. What is going to be a want may be a questionable aspect when we deal with your baggage provisions. But does not include jewelry. Now, this is a little important, but does not include jewelry. Now, if you say this is part of baggage, a person goes from India to Qatar empty-handed. While coming back, he will have 25 kgs of gold as a personal belonging, personal baggage. He'll say, sir, it's my baggage. The moment jewelry is made as a personal effect, your sky is the limit for commodity trading. So for that reason, they say personal effect does not include jewelry. Now, this is a table which we will discuss with respect to personal baggage. Personal baggage. Now, what this is? There's a reference called rule number 3. There's a reference called rule number 3. Don't by heart. I'll make it very, very simple. How we have to read, how we need to remember. First and foremost, look at the country of origin. Look at the country of origin. From where the passenger is coming. origin country from which the passenger is coming. Any country other than Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar. Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar. Now, these are northeastern states where these are borders to India. So, in case if there is a Indian resident, now Indian resident or a foreigner residing in India or a tourist of Indian origin, excluding an infant. Infant is a child whose age is less than 2 years. A child whose age is less than 2 years, we call that as an infant. So generally, baggage provisions are not strict for infant for the reason infant, a child, doesn't need anything other than basic needs like milk, food, and clothing, or maybe their gadgets. Other than that, nothing else is baggage for infant. So the provisions are not discussed at length on infant, they kept it silent. Starting point. For a moment, say Kaushiki travels abroad for a personal visit. She is going to come back, Indian resident. Or say Geeta, who happens to be the resident of US, she has been deputed to work in Asia Pacific region. So she has been posted in Mumbai as an Asian Pacific in charge. So she will be called as a foreigner residing in India. Why? For the purpose of employment, expat has come into India. Or tourist. So Balaji is a person who has come into India who is Indian origin for tourist purpose. Now these people who have come to India other than Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, what they say, articles allowed free of duty. Now this is a table says, what are the articles allowed free of duty? What is that? I can bring without payment of customs duty. First, use personal effects and travel souvenir. Use personal effect and travel souvenir. So here, whatever personal effect is there, whatever travel souvenir is there, there is no duty. There is no duty. Very, very important. So when Kaushiki visits Singapore, she says, sir, I have 10 dress material. I have 5 shampoo bottles or this kit of personal kit. When she gives a declaration, this is called personal effect. When she goes, when she comes back, there could be addition to the personal effect. Absolutely not to worry, no need to pay any duty. Travel souvenir. When she has went abroad, she has purchased few items. Say Singapore, there's a Vigraha, which is like, say, Laughing Buddha, famous at a particular pond. She says, as a symbolic thing for visit Singapore, I have taken a picture where they have embossed my picture on a Laughing Buddha and they have given to me. I bring it back to India as a travel souvenir. No need to pay any customs duty. Point number 2. Articles up to the value of rupees 50,000, excluding articles mentioned in Annexure 1. A while ago, I have shown you Annexure 1, where I have arms cartridges, firearms cartridges, cigarettes, liquor, and your tobacco products or your TV. So they say articles up to a value of rupees 50,000 if carried in person or in accompanied baggage. So they say articles up to rupees 50,000. So open your working note. Open your working note. Please mention duty-free baggage elements. Write down duty-free baggage elements. Below that, country of origin other than Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar. Next to that, articles up to rupees 50,000. Articles up to rupees 50,000. Now, these are the points where you will be tested in your examination, students. 3 marks is a problem which you can expect on these aspects. Mansa says need is essential and want is for luxury. Exactly, Mansa. That's the point. Next, moving on. Tourist of a foreign origin. Now here, in the previous slide, tourist of an Indian origin. So if you're an Indian origin, 50,000 is the benefit you have. So what if the tourist is of a foreign origin? If the tourist is of a foreign origin, this duty-free allowance is reduced to 15,000. Point number one, 50,000 was reduced to 15,000. For whom? For a tourist of a foreign origin. Tourist of a foreign origin. Indian origin, 50,000 is a benefit. Foreign origin, 15K is the value of articles I can import. And when I say article, they say other than Annexure 1. That means Annexure 1, whatever articles are there, I have to pay my customs duty. Now, I'll draw your attention once again here. Article 1, for a moment. So here they say cartridge of arms exceeding 50. So up to 50, 35% ad valorem value. More than 50, 100% ad valorem value. So when I have to pay customs duty, so when I have cartridge arms up to 50, I'll be paying 35% ad valorem value. If it is exceeding 50, then I have to pay my 100% ad valorem value, right? So this is how we understand Annexure 1. So when we are talking about free allowance, whenever we are talking about free allowance, they are not giving any benefit of Annexure 1 items for duty exemption. They are giving articles other than Article 1. Example, sir, if I import a TV, sir, if I import, say, a tape recorder, sir, if I import washing machine, I've visited Taiwan. The washing machine whose value is 50,000 in India, refrigerator whose value is 60,000 in India, say smart refrigerator. When it's a smart refrigerator, maybe the cost of refrigerator is 1 lakh. Sitting at my office using mobile, I can switch on my oven, I can switch on refrigerator, I can switch off my refrigerator, I can play this, like a TV, there is a screen where I can play all my shows whenever I'm working in a kitchen. Now, this smart refrigerator whose value is 1 lakh in India, say in Taiwan, the value is only 50,000. Now, definitely, when you have 50% reduction, you import that into India. For a moment, assuming 18% is a customs duty. On 50,000, you're going to pay 9,000. Max 59,000 is what you're going to pay. So these are the articles where they say up to the value of 50,000, no need to pay customs duty. So if you exceed 50,000, then you are supposed to pay your customs duty. Then, tourist of foreign origin, my article's value is 15,000. Next, rule number 4. For countries like now, when you come from Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, they say, if you are an Indian resident, if you are a foreign residing in India or tourist excluding an infant. So for these people, use personal effects and travel souvenir, no need to pay any customs duty. Articles up to 15,000, excluding mention in Annexure 1, if carried on in person or in accompanied baggage, up to 15,000, no need to pay customs duty. So they have given Rule 3, Rule 3, Rule 4. Rule 3, your traveler of Indian origin, tourist of Indian origin, tourist of non-Indian origin. Then Rule 4, countries of Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar. In this case, I have 50,000 as a duty-free allowance. In this case, 15,000 as a duty-free allowance. Rule number 4, 15,000 is a duty-free allowance. So as a thumb rule, any of these three tables you have to remember, just keep in mind, 50,000 is the entry in case if you're a tourist of an Indian origin. If you're an Indian resident, 50,000 is the benefit. Any other case, maximum 15,000 is the benefit I have. So what we'll do, we'll break for 10 minutes. We are at 7:35. We'll have a break till 7:45 and we will take up one problem on the basis of this provision. Let's join back on 7:45. of questions before we go to a problem. Let me just answer those questions and then we'll take up a problem. First question. Kaushik is asking this question. If exceeds 50,000, then customs on whole amount or amount exceeding 50,000. As elements, Kaushiki, up to 50,000, I need not pay customs duty. For a moment, if I have imported a particular article which is exceeding, say, 65,000. So 50,000 is a basic exemption. I'll reduce that value. Balance 15,000, I'll be paying my customs duty. So how do we understand? Basic is when I say elements, up to 50,000, I need not pay. Similarly, if I'm a tourist of not an Indian origin, then 15,000 is the elements. So any article which I've imported, say 30,000 is the cost of, or 40,000 is the cost of an article. 15,000 is a basic exemption. So 25,000 on which I'll pay my customs duty. Next, Srinivas is asking this question. So like income tax basic provisions 2.5 lakh, customs provisions are very, very low at rate. I do agree, Srinivas. It's a high time where under income tax, we need to have a revision for a basic exemption from 2.5 lakhs to at least 5 lakhs, considering the inflation which is hovering around. Even 15,000 is nothing. These were written way back in 90s, where that point in time, 15,000 is worth, say, 1.5 lakh as on today. So I do agree with you, Srinivas. Then Kaushik is asking this question. Arriving by land only personal effects. Okay. Kaushiki, when goods are coming by land, that is, say, train or your vehicle, only personal effects are exempted, rest all are taxable. I repeat, for a moment. Say from Pakistan, someone is coming into, say, Haryana. So when I get onto a boat, a bus from Pakistan by land coming into India, the goods which are personal effects are exempted. Anything other than personal effects, I have to pay my customs duty. Hope this is clear, Kaushiki. Good evening, Viraj. Now, let us take one example. We will solve one problem, then we'll go further. Hope you are able to see my Excel, ma. Hope this is visible. Excel file is visible. And please download this Excel. It is available on the Board of Studies website. Problem number 1. Computation of general free allowance. Now, whatever provisions we have read as per Rule 3, Rule 4, Rule 5, we have to calculate this general free allowance. Computation of general allowance. Mr. A visits Canada for an employment-related purpose on 10 April 2020. So A is going to Canada for employment purpose on April 20. He carries few belongings with him with due intimation as personal belongings. His wife joins him after a period of 2 months. So this gentleman A went to Canada for employment purpose on 10th April 2020. While going, he is taking a few things along with him called personal belongings. Later, his wife has joined after a period of 2 months along with him. Both of them returned back to India on 15th April 2021 with the below information. Now here, we have to examine this general duty-free allowance provisions, what we have seen, Rule 3, Rule 4, with respect to this people who are coming from Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar. Those provisions where reference to articles other than Annexure 1 has been referred. So here, as I take through, look at your institute material, look at your Annexure 1. Please come to page number 5.52. Maybe like in my material, I have 5.52, where you have been given with Annexure 1. Please remember, in duty-free allowance, Annexure 1, there is no general allowance. Other articles, you have allowance of 50,000, 15,000, 15,000. Question number 1. Now, before we proceed further, in case of Mr. A and Mrs. A, What is the general duty-free allowance? Is it 50,000 each or 15,000 each? What is your answer? Is it 50,000 or is it 15,000? For both A and Mrs. A individually, what is the general duty-free allowance? Will they fit into rule 3? Will they fit into rule 4? Articles up to value of 50,000 or articles up to value of 15,000? What is your answer? Kaushik says 50,000 each. Srinivasan says 50,000 each. Srinivasan says 50,000 each. Good. Both Srinivasan and Kaushik, you are right, ma. You are right. So here, both of them are Indian origin. They are coming back to India. So accordingly, the duty-free allowance is 50,000 rupees each. Is 50,000 each. Now, let's read the given information. Personal belongings 85,000, travel souvenir 12,000, jewelry 76,000. Now, personal belonging, it is not an article as per Annexure 1. As per your rule 3, they say use personal effects and travel souvenir. So here, both are exempted. I'll say general duty-free allowance. Here also I'll say exempted. Or I'll say under, I have a heading called dutiable value, general duty-free allowance. In case of personal effects, entire amount is exempted. Or I'll say 85,000. In case of personal belongings, entire amount is exempted. In case of travel souvenir, even this is also exempted. In case of jewelry, now please look into your institute material and give me answer. Is jewelry forming part of Annexure 1? Look at your Annexure 1 and give your answer. Jewelry, is it there in Annexure 1? They say gold or silver in any form other than ornaments. Gold or silver in any form other than ornaments. Absolutely. Kaushik, you're right, ma. Jewelry is not even personal effect, nor in Annexure 1. So here, now jewelry I can call as an article. As per this general allowance, as per general allowance, I have a general duty-free allowance of 50,000. Accordingly, my dutiable value will be 76,000 minus 50,000. 26,000 will be a dutiable value. I'll make a note. Not gold or silver in any form as per Annexure 1. As per Annexure 1. Now, this is a note for my jewelry. So here, my general duty-free allowance, personal and travel is exempted, jewelry is taxable to the tune of 26,000. This is in case of Mr. A. This is in case of Mr. A. Let me just put a box so that we'll. Next, moving on. Mrs. A. In case of Mrs. A, there's a personal belongings 45,000. Now, as per this exemption notification, entire personal belongings are exempt, right? So I'll say 45,000 is my duty-free allowance. Personal computer, 75,000. Now, please look at your Annexure 1. Is this personal computer forming part of Annexure 1? Is this personal computer forming part of Annexure 1? Annexure 1, I have firearm, cartridge, cigar, alcohol, gold and silver, flat panel, TV. So this is not forming part of Annexure 1. So I have a basic exemption of 50,000. Accordingly, dutiable value will be 25,000. Hope this is clear, students. Personal computer. Hope this is clear. Okay. I repeat once again. Personal computer is an article. Now look at the exemption notification. They say articles up to value of rupees 50,000, excluding articles mentioned in Annexure 1. Personal computer is not my personal belonging. Personal computer is a computer, maybe your desktop, maybe a tablet, maybe something else. So they say a personal computer is not forming part of Annexure 1, whose value carried in the person or in baggage, accompanied or as a passenger, exempted up to rupees 50,000. Accordingly, only 25,000 is dutiable and 50,000 is a duty-free allowance. Hope this is clear, Kaushiki. Mansa, is this clear now? Kaushiki says clear. Mansa, if not clear, let me know. Again, I'll repeat. Next. Cigars, 50 numbers in each, worth rupees 600. So there are cigars for 50 pieces, and each value is 600 rupees. Now, this is not a duty-free allowance. I'll say 0. Dutiable value, I'll say 30,000. 30,000 is my dutiable value. Jewelry. Now, jewelry, as per note available here, I'll just copy this note here also. Because for Mrs. A, I've exhausted this 50,000 already. I have no duty-free allowance further. I'll say 0 under general duty-free allowance, and I'll say 75,000 as my dutiable value. I'll mention 75,000 as my dutiable value. Accordingly, my total for general free allowance, 45,000 plus 50, everything is going to be duty-free allowance. 1,30,000 is going to be my dutiable value. On this, Mrs. A needs to pay customs duty. On this, Mrs. A needs to pay customs duty. Hope this is clear, ma? Kaushik is asking this question. Is there any difference if it is used article or brand new article? Personal effects should be used by a person who is carrying those goods, Kaushik. If I'm buying other than as a personal effect, only used items will be called as a used personal effects. Okay. For a moment, I have, let's take example, say clothing. If I have purchased 100 shirts, now all the 100 shirts are packed in a particular form. How do I call that as a used personal effects? Entry says used personal effects. So it is burden on me to prove to the satisfaction of the officer that these goods are used personal effects. So if it is in a brand new form, packed condition, I cannot call that as a personal, used personal effects. So the benefit is given, Kaushiki, only for used personal effects. And you are very correct. The burden is on the assessee to prove it's a brand new or used personal effects. Now, before we go back, I have one point here for us to examine. In this problem, say 76,000, like if you see Mr. A, for A, both personal belongings and travel souvenir are exempted. This is what we can understand. What if, jewelry imported by A instead of 76, it is only 26,000. If it is only 26,000, I've changed 76 to 26,000. Now here, under duty-free allowance, what we will say? We will just say entire 26,000 is exempted. Now, look at the tax planning. 50,000 is a benefit given to Mr. A, exhausted 26,000, left over 24,000. Can this 24 be clubbed for Mrs. A? Can Mrs. A use this 24,000? Answer is a big no. So you will say that any unutilized general free allowance can't be transferred. Examination, they may test you in this angle where is there any scope for Mr. A to claim the benefit of unutilized general duty free allowance for Mrs. A? Answer is a big no. The allowance is given to one passenger or one person. you cannot transfer that benefit to another, like your income tax. If husband and wife are working, husband has exhausted 5 lakhs basic threshold limit, wife is up to 3 lakhs. Can the unutilized portion of 2 lakhs from wife be transferred to husband? Answer is no. So this is one problem which you can expect from your examination. Moving further. Next is your jewelry. Jewelry, this is again one model where you can expect one question from examination. Rule 5 talks about jewelry. In case of jewelry, they say that, let me see if there are any questions before I touch on this. Kaushik is asking this question. If goods are removed from Mrs. A and kept in the baggage of Mr. A. Now, this is what we generally get into the tendency. Now, practically all this will happen, Kaushik. But how do we present? Like assuming, like when I have to give an ornament. Now, at the time of purchase, say billing, you will say, please bill in Mr. Praveen's name. Please bill in Mrs. Praveen's name. So at the time of purchase itself, you have a bill. So when you're coming back, you have to show to the customs officer that when you went empty-handed. While coming back, you have come with this jewelry which you have purchased over there. So burden is on you to prove whose name you have purchased them. So that becomes a little complicated, Kaushik. Yeah. Jewelry allowance. Now, other than this, in first general duty-free allowance, we have 3 modes where we saw 50,000, 15,000, 15,000. Second is my jewelry allowance. What they say, country of origin, any country. The passenger may come from any country. Who is the class of passenger? Passenger residing abroad for more than 1 year. Passenger residing abroad for more than 1 year. Now, this is the important point. Examination, a problem, they will say, where passenger should be residing abroad for more than 1 year. What they say, in case of a gentleman, jewelry up to weight of 20 grams. Now, today's market rate, 5,000 is per gram. 5,000 into 20 happens to be a lakh. Now, what is 50,000 is way back, 10 years back. So, in case of a gentleman, maximum cap is 50,000. In case of a lady passenger, jewelry up to 40 grams with a value cap of 1 lakh. So, here you have 2 things to take into consideration. One, weight. These both aspects, check weight first. Second, value. So for a gentleman, the value is up to 20 grams, whose value should be less than 50,000. Then it is a general allowance. It is a free of duty. No need to pay any customs duty. This is a second provision with respect to baggage provisions of jewelry. Now let me take you through second example. Mr. X has visited Singapore. Mr. X has visited Singapore for a personal trip along with his wife and returned back after a month. What I will do, I'll take up this problem maybe okay. I'll slightly modify this problem to explain the jewelry. Say problem 3. Mr. A visited for employment to the US on 10 April 2020. After 3 months, his wife joined him for stay in US. Both of them returned back to India on 15th April 2021. Examine duty-free allowance, if any. Now, let me give particulars. Mr. A, Mrs. A. Serial number 1. Personal effects. Mr. A is say 2,50,000. Mrs. A is 1,25,000. Then say I have a laptop, say 85,000, 80,000, 0. Jewelry, jewelry for 80,000. Mrs. C for 65,000. Now, based on this, we have to examine what is a duty-free allowance for both Mr. A and Mrs. A. This is one particular model which you can expect from your examination. Now, please remember one exemption I have not mentioned. There is a general exemption notification 11 of 2004. 11 of 2004 customs, where as per section 25, subsection 1, section 25 deals with your exemption. As per this provision, laptop imported is generally exempted for one member. So here, any passenger who's coming to India, maybe for employment, maybe for whatever reason, as per this notification 11 of 2004, by default, laptop is generally exempted, irrespective of the value. So this is one provision, a general provision, which you have to make a note. Examination, when they say computer, please keep in mind, laptop is different, computer is different. Exemption is given only for laptop, not for computer. So can you call computer also a laptop? Answer is, technically you can call computer and laptop, but computer is generally referred to as a desktop. Laptop is something which is having a specific characteristics. So laptop is something which is exempted. Coming back, duty-free, general duty-free allowance. Duty. Now, in case of personal effects, exemption, first notification, rule number 3, everything is exempted. General duty-free allowance, this one, 2.5 lakh, dutiable is 0. In case of Mrs. A, entire 1.25 is exempted, dutiable is 0. For laptop, as I say, notification 11 of 2004, examination, no need to quote the notification. You can say, as per the provisions of Customs Act, read with notification, read with section 25. Please keep in mind, section 25 deals with your exemption. So you can say, as per the provisions of Customs Act 1962, section 25 provides for exemption for one laptop imported by a passenger. So here, entire 80,000 happens to be exempted, dutiable 0. In case of Mrs. A, nothing is there. So nothing is dutiable, nothing is exempted. Now, jewelry. Now, jewelry, we have to examine. In case of A, look at the dates from to. A visited on 10th April 2020. 2, he has come back on 15th April 2021. Let me say 14th April. He stayed there till 14th April 2021. In case of Mrs. A, she joined after 3 months. So April, May, June, July. 10th July 2020, she has left. She has come back on 14th April 21 along with her husband. Now, in case of A has stayed abroad for more than 1 year. Mrs. A has not stayed abroad for more than 1 year. So in case of A he will have general duty-free allowance entire 80,000. Now, as per jewelry, he has a general exemption of rupees 40,000. He has a general duty-free allowance of 40,000. Now, can I say dutiable of balance 40,000? Answer will be as per your regular duty-free allowance. Any articles other than article number 1, other than reference to annexure 1, 50,000 is a maximum threshold limit. So technically, this 40,000, addition to that, another 40,000 will be considered as your general duty-free allowance. I repeat my point. Since A stayed abroad for more than 1 year, he gets a, for gentlemen, you remember this provision? Let me come back to this line. In case of a gentleman, value is 50,000. Sorry, I did a mistake. Instead of 50, I've taken 40. I'll correct that. So value of gentleman is 50,000. Value of a lady passenger is 1 lakh. So coming back to the problem, first I'll exhaust 50,000. The general duty-free allowance in case of jewelry as per rule number 5. And balance 30,000 as per rule number 3. Accordingly, entire 80,000 is exempted in the hands of Mr. A. Coming to Mrs. A, she is less than a year's period, though she is entitled for 1 lakh, because her residence, a period of stay is less than 1 year, she will not get that 1 lakh benefit. Rather, she can get the general duty-free allowance of 50,000. So, I'll say 50,000 is the general duty-free allowance. Accordingly, duty will be 65 minus 50. 15,000 is going to be dutiable. Let me see if any one of you have any doubts on this discussion. Examination, ma'am. This problem is going to be tested for 1 year, 3 marks. That's what we need to keep in mind. Very good. Kaushik says, Mr. A, duty free of 3,50,000. Kaushik, just check your answer. For Mr. A, entire 4,10,000 is duty free, ma. And Mrs. A, dutiable is 1 lakh, duty free is 175, dutiable is 15,000. Good, good. Good to see the answers. Yes, Srinivas, you are also right, ma. Correct. So I'll move on to further provisions. Next, transfer of residence. Now, this transfer of residence is a case where a person who is engaged in a profession, like the previous example, Mr. A, Mrs. E, whom have mentioned, they say that in case you are a person who is engaged by way of a profession, most of these software guys go on overseas for their employment purpose. So for them, this particular provision talks about your general duty-free allowance in the category number 3. Category number 1, where I have a general allowance of 50K, 15K, 15K. Category 2, your jewelry. Category 3, in case of a transfer of residence. So here they say a person who is engaged in a profession abroad or is transferring his residence to India, he will be allowed a duty-free allowance of articles on his return in the following manner. So they have given a list. Before that list, I have this annexure 2 and annexure 3 captured, where these are the general items. These are the general items which are considered as your household items to be transferred. Television, home theater, dishwasher, refrigerator, deep freezer, video camera, cinematograph films, or gold, silver in any form other than ornaments. This is one exclusive list. Then, annexure 3, we have one more item called VCR, digital video, music system, AC, oven, word processor machine, fax machine. Various items which are part of your annexure 3. Now, what do they say? In relation to a period of stay, 3 months to 6 months, there, first and foremost, personal and household articles, articles which are allowed duty free. All your personal and household articles. These items which are other than mentioned in Annexure 1, Annexure 2, but including articles mentioned in Annexure 3 up to value of 60,000. They say no need to pay your customs duty. So they're saying that whatever your personal and household articles are there, they look at your category 1, category 2. They say used personal belongings. Here, they're just saying that personal and household articles, which are other than Annexure 1, Annexure 2. But including Annexure 3, value is up to 60,000. So here, just we need to remember category wise. So if a period of stay is less than 3 months, I'll not get any exemption. Between 3 to 6 months, value is 60,000. Value is 60,000. Stays more than 6 months, up to 1 year. 6 months from 6 months to 1 year, up to 1 year, that 60,000 has went up to 1 lakh. If the stay is more than equal to 1 year or up to 2 years, then the value is going to be 2 lakhs. So initially, basic exemption 60,000 they have given. Frankly, the benefits what they have given 60,000, 1 lakh are not up to the current inflation standard, but this is the way law has been written. So up to 2 years, 2 lakh. The last but not the least, I'm not captured here. 5 lakh is if you have a stay more than 2 years, 5 lakhs is the maximum threshold limit. Examination, category 1, category 2. These are the two categories where most of the time questions are tested in case of your duty-free allowance calculations. Most of the questions, category 1, category 2. This is what you can expect. So in the process of shifting, what happens to foreign currency? Like if I am staying in US, if I am staying in Europe, if I am staying in Singapore, I have Singapore dollars, US dollars, or euros, etc. They say those are governed by FEMA regulations. Means customs officer not bound to do the assessment of duty because securities, money is out of your goods under security indirect taxation. For that purpose, any foreign currency which you carry as a passenger, as per FEMA regulations, you have to get the permission and desired amount with the prior approval needs to be brought into India. Then, in relation to crew, now if you remember 4 slides before, I gave one table where I was talking baggage. Baggage for an ordinary passenger, baggage for a crew. In case of a crew, all these personal belongings are exempted. Now, other than these personal belongings, in any articles, if they bring all these petty articles, they have a maximum threshold limit of 1,500 rupees, right? So this is what I was saying, a limited extent. So baggage rule says that in case of a crew, the value maximum what they can bring is 1,500 rupees. Then, moving on further, there's a provision called temporary detention of baggage. Temporary detention of baggage. There could be scenarios where 5 lakhs is a limit which is exceeding more than a period of 2 years quotient. Transfer of residence, I go for employment. After a period of employment, I wish to come back to India. So like I went to US for employment purpose. I have stayed in US as employee to work in there. So when generally people who go there with family, they have to have household things. So if they are there in US for 2 years, after 2 years, they have to shift back. They have this household personal things they may discard or they may bring into India. So most of the time when they bring into India, this customs provisions are made in such a fashion that up to, if you are abroad for more than 2 years, maximum 5 lakhs is the allowance for articles which are there in entry number Annexure 3. These are only for people who are there in residents outside India on employment basis. And when they're coming back to India, they're bringing their household goods along with them. That is where this category 3 is touched upon portion. Coming to this duty on baggage, there could be scenarios where the customs officer may not permit or the passenger may not be willing to pay to the customs officer consent duty. So here, provisions are connected with depositing the article with customs authority, Now, there could be cases where goods are prohibited. Now, if goods are prohibited, definitely, though it is part of baggage, they don't permit to bring into India. Example, narcotic drugs, Schedule H drugs. Though those are personal baggage, they'll say, no, it's prohibited, I'll not permit you. Passenger may not be willing to pay customs duty. Now, there could be scenarios where, so there is a tourist who is coming to India. A tourist who is coming to India, say he has brought a motorcycle. Motorcycle, which is a bicycle, probably article's value is more than 15,000. The officer says, look, you're bringing motorcycle, the value you have to pay customs duty of 1 lakh. Now, this tourist may feel, why should I waste my money by paying customs duty of 1 lakh? He'll say, look, I'm not going to take this goods into India. Rather, I'll leave it with you in the customs. When I go back, I'll take back along with me when I travel abroad. So this is a scenario where instead of paying customs duty, he leaves the particular place where he doesn't want to pay the customs duty. Yeah. Or at times, proper officer may, at the request of passenger, they detain such article. Why? There could be reasons beyond his control. Said, this is not my article, it has come. Please, you can retain it till I want to claim it back. Now, he wanted to confirm, is it article which has come into his baggage by mistake, or it was a genuine baggage of someone else? There could be cases where detention will be done by the proper officer. Next provisions connected with section 52, which deals with your transit and transshipment. Transit and transshipment. I'll give a clarity before explaining this concept. There's a vessel which is coming from, say, Russia. This vessel may have consignments pertaining to India, pertaining to, say, Pakistan, maybe pertaining to, say, Nepal, and also maybe pertaining to, say, China. Now, you have a choice whether this vessel coming to India, say in India, I have, say, Mumbai and Vizag. Two places, there is a consignment to be unloaded, then to travel out of India. So here, this goods which are belonging to other nation may be, these goods may be carried in the same vessel, or maybe transshipped to another vessel. That means to say when the vessel has come to India, first point, Mumbai, they have done the unloading. Second point, Vizag, they have done the unloading. Now, after doing the unloading, there could be a scenario where there is a damage or there is a problem in the engine, because of which there was a delay in moving the vessel from Vizag to another, these three locations. So at that point in time, I can transfer the goods from one ship to another ship, one vessel to another vessel. That's called transshipment. Where I transfer the goods from one vessel to another vessel, one craft to another aircraft for continuation of transportation. That's called transshipment. Or after Vizag, the same vessel may continue to Pakistan, may continue to Nepal, may continue to China. That's called transit, goods in transit. Means there are, say, in totality, 1,000 consignments. Out of 1,000 consignments, say 200 consignments are destined for India, Say 100 consignments are destined for Pakistan. Say another 100 consignments are destined for Nepal. Balance 600 consignments are destined for China. So this vessel, which is carrying this 1,000 consignments, to like here, say 100 consignments were unloaded. In Vizag, 100 balance 100 were unloaded. When they transit all these goods from from Mumbai to Vizag, Vizag to back to Pakistan, Pakistan to Nepal to China. Now this is called transit. This is called transit. Means goods in transit. Now please remember provisions of section 12, where goods imported into India. Goods imported to India for delivery in India. Not destined. Rather, it's a transit goods. So, both the cases I call dutiable goods. Both the cases I call dutiable goods. But because this is a transit goods, no duty to be paid. No duty to be paid. As long as these goods are on Indian soil, as per the provisions of section 12, we call them as dutiable goods. Because the goods are in transit to any other nation, till the goods are not unloaded, till the goods are not cleared into the customs area, though it is dutiable, no duty is to be collected on those goods. Now, this is a concept where transit, transshipment comes into picture. Transit is a mode of journey where the same vessel, the same vehicle, the same aircraft carries the goods from one place to another place. In case of a transshipment, the goods which are meant for various destinations will get transferred from one particular ship to another ship, or one vessel to another vessel, or one craft to another aircraft. This is what transshipment happens. Let me see if there are any questions in relation to transit and transshipment. Viraj is asking this question. Is rental charges or parking charges on vehicle applicable if kept in customs area? There is no rental charges as such, Viraj. See, why do they come? They come for the purpose of loading the material in case of export, unloading the material in case of import. And these goods move out of the customs area once the work is done, irrespective of the position. The aircraft or the vessel will not be permitted to kept in a customs area beyond particular purpose it has been brought into. So as such, there will not be any duty or rentals which are collected now. This is not a parking lot where you don't have a space in China, you come and dump your vehicle in India. If that has to be done, you will see dearth of all these consignments, which are meant for bordering nations. Wherever you find a dock, you just come and land over there till you don't get the next consignment. That's going to kill the markets. So generally, Viraj, they don't allow to pay the duty and park in customs area. Coming back. Examination. Expect a 3 marks 3D question. Differentiate transit and transshipment. So section 52 governs transit. Section 54 governs transshipment. Where movement of goods under transit. When I say transit in goods, there is a bottom cargo. That means when you visualize, this is my cargo space. In cargo space, generally, the bottom cargo is something which is called transit. That means these are the goods which are not going to unpacked or removed out of cargo to the Indian soil. This is called bottom cargo. Technical name, bottom cargo. In case of transit, this is covered under section 52, which is in case of transshipment, governs the movement of goods under transit. So 54 is a governing provision, 52 is a governing provision. Now look at the differentiation. Referring to 52, 54, that itself fetch you 1 mark. 3 marks is a theory question. Just writing 52, 54, you are going to get 1 mark. So should I need to by heart? At times, few provisions, no excuse, please by heart. In case of a transit, goods are allowed to remain in the same conveyance. In case of transshipment, goods are unloaded from one conveyance and loaded to another conveyance. Now, loading, unloading, movement. Movement happens from one conveyance to another conveyance. There is a continuity in records. So when you look at the general manifest, EGM or AGM, there is a continuity. There is no breakage. Like I don't say, I have 1,000 consignments, I have 600 unloaded, 200 is for customs duty. In case of transshipment, continuity in records is not maintained. When I say not maintained, now look at the beauty. When I say AGM or EGM, say in case of EGM, I generally say, what is the country of origin? What is the country of origin? What is the country of destination? What is the units carried here? What is the units unloaded here? So here, this particular continuity is something which will be missing in case of a transshipment. So if I have that 600 brought into transshipment, I'll say from Germany, it was brought into India. In India, it was unloaded. So I'll say this 300 pieces were unloaded here. And from India, I've taken another 200 consignments. So this complete list of history will be broken in case of a transshipment. This is a differentiation for transshipment. Next. Warehousing of stores. I'll give you the background of this stores, then I'll explain this provisions. Space, tools, consumables, fuel, food, medical medicines or medical kit, whatever you can call. Now, if you imagine an aircraft or a vessel or a bus or a train, generally these will have additional space, tools, consumables, which are essential for them to operate. Now, in case of an aircraft, say an aircraft goes from Delhi to Bombay. From Delhi to Bombay, if you have to have, say, 8,000 kiloliters of fuel, they'll not just use 8,000 kiloliters. They may use 15,000 kiloliters. They'll say, 1 point to 1 point, I have 8,000 kiloliters requirement, but I fill more than for exigency purpose. Now, that's called stores. Similarly, for emergency, like your operational purpose, I may have extra tire, extra gear, or any other consumables. For people who travel as a crew, they need to have food. Passengers, they need to have food, medicines, emergency medicines. These are all essentials for a vehicle or aircraft or a vessel. Now, there is an inventory of these stores. So generally, assuming that this is our Indian jurisdiction, when a vessel takes a permission, say vessel is coming into India, the inventory is say 1,000 piece numbers. Now all this put together, say for a particular spare, the inventory is 1,000 numbers. So when the vessel is leaving out of India, at that point in time, again, inventory will be verified. At the point of exit, say assuming 800 numbers are there. Vessel has come into India with 1,000 inventory. Vessel is leaving out of India with 800 inventory. What happened to the balance 200 numbers? Now this balance 200 numbers, was it delivered or was it imported? Delivered without permission. I would say delivery without permission. They have misutilized, or the goods have been imported. These goods have been imported in India without permission. Of whom? Without permission of proper officer. That could be one scenario. Another scenario, these goods have been consumed. These goods have been consumed. Now here, whatever be the scenario, this provision says that whenever you come with stores, these stores are dutiable. These stores are dutiable. And these stores are deemed to be in a bonded warehouse. Bonded warehouse. So that means to say the customs provision says that whatever stores you have brought, let it be on your vessel. Let it be on your aircraft. I'll call your vessel itself as a stores. Now these stores, please give an inventory. You brought 1,000. Now if you are consuming 200, please give me intimation. That means the bonded premises I am consuming. Say for a moment, I have some malfunction, like when the goods are being unloaded, I found that the fan is not rotating for a particular aircraft. So what they will do? So this fan, there is a particular overhauling required, a particular motor needs to be replaced. So what I'll do from the stores, I'll take 2 motors, I'll replace the motors. I'll give an intimation to the proper officer saying that, look, out of this inventory, I have replaced 2 motors for this fan. If I don't give that intimation, it's deemed that they have supplied in India without payment of customs duty. That's the purpose of your stores. Hope this basic background is clear, students. So what is the important point here? 1, for consumption, that is your debonding, they need to take a prior permission. 2, for purchase from domestic tariff area, that means to say, for a moment, an aircraft has come into India, say Chennai, there is a malfunction in a particular fan, 2 air compressors are required, they don't have sufficient stores. They'll go to the Chennai local market area, they buy. Now, any stores sold to a particular vessel, aircraft, which is for outbound journey, will be deemed to be export as per the customs provisions. So here, this gentleman who's selling the goods, they call that as a zero rated supply. And based on the customs permission, they import those goods into the customs warehouse without payment of customs duty. They consume and the vessel or aircraft goes out of India. Similarly, 3, they may supply to domestic tariff area. So in case of there is a surplus, so there is a aircraft which is there is a vessel which is bound to Indian waters. This vessel is never going to go out of Indian waters. Because this is going to be Indian waters, any goods which is brought into customs area, the territorial waters, it is deemed to be import. Then corresponding customs duty will be paid and the goods will be permitted by the proper officer to be consumed in territorial waters. These are the total provisions which are connected with my stores. Let me see if there are any doubts. So far, so good. So here they say that the stores are to be kept in a bonded warehouse when it comes to a vessel or aircraft. Now, whenever the importer makes a subscribe to a declaration, stores and vessels to aircraft, it is meant for without payment of duty. Why? This vessel or aircraft is going to go out of India after fitment, and there is a permission required from a proper officer. I've explained what is the items which is covered in stores. Transit, transshipment, this we have discussed. Dutiability on stores. Now, as I say, stores consumed on a vessel or aircraft. Any stores which are consumed on an aircraft, first Indian port or airport arrival till the final Indian port or airport of departure, this is no duty is leviable. Why? this vessel or aircraft, is a foreign going vessel. So any vessel which is coming from Russia, so once it reaches, say, Indian territorial waters, whatever consumption they do, this vessel is not going to reside in India. After they unload whatever containers to be unloaded from India, it goes to, say, China. So it's called as a foreign going vessel. Because it's a foreign going vessel, any of those stores which are consumed, no need to pay any customs duty. In case if it is going to be a local flight, then duty will be charged. This I have explained. Then we are coming to the fag end of our discussion. Another 2-3 slides are there, where in general, there are 40 pages in your institute material. I've considered into 3-4 pages. This is very generic provisions. Any one reading is good enough for you to have a general knowledge. Examination point of view, not much questions you can expect. Only one question with respect to the recent amendment in relation to electronic cash ledger. I'll explain that in due course. First and foremost, person in charge of a vessel has to file a particular form which is called manifest, which could be an import general manifest or export general manifest. So a person who's in charge of a vessel or an aircraft, whenever they're coming to India, so before they come into India, they have to inform the proper officer. This proper officer will examine and then give a permission for entry. So before entry, a detailed information will be given called your arrival manifest, import manifest, or information report, also called import report. In this report, what I will give, what are the goods which are meant for a particular port or unloading, and what are the goods which are going to be get carried forward. So I'll give my total history, saying that, look, this is my stores, this is the consignments, this is the baggage. Stores inventory will be given. Consignment, out of total consignments, how much I'm going to unload in India, how much going to go out of India. Baggage, passenger specific, what is the declaration 70 under section 77 they have given, that also I'll make a intimation. And in case of a vehicle, vessel or aircraft, prior intimation. Before vessel comes to the customs waters, before aircraft comes into the customs intimation, they make a prior intimation. But in case of vehicle comes from there, within a span of 12 hours, the intimation has to be given. Like electronic declaration needs to be given. So only in case of vessel or aircraft, it was a prior intimation. Based on the intimation, the permission given is called entry inwards. The proper officer gives an order to come into customs waters or customs area for the purpose of loading or unloading. Loading in case of export, unloading in case of inward. Now, once the vessel comes to a customs area, this customs area will be under a jurisdiction, will be responsibility of a person called custodian. There is a term called custodian. This customs area generally will be under the supervision of a person called custodian. So this person, custodian, generally is appointed by a principal commissioner or a commissioner. So what does this fellow do? He will be responsible. The moment the goods come into that particular area or harbor, etc., till the goods are unloaded, till the order for bill of entry is filed for goods clearance for home consumption or goods taken into bonded warehouse, till all such point in time, this custodian will be responsible. Generally, the Port Trust of India or Container Corporation of India, Inland Container Corporation. These are the organizations which are called as custodians appointed. Now, these are the people who operate, who charge some charges for handling the consignments. Now, this custodian, like I don't know how many of you have visited this railway transportation. If you want to experience this, just visit the railway transport for a moment. Say you are a student, you are settled in Delhi. After the examination, you want to travel back to your native place, say which is there in Kerala. So the vehicle has to travel from Delhi to Kerala. If you have to drive all the way from Delhi to Kerala, by the time you come back to Kerala, you will become a patient. You may take a month or 2 months, and the vehicle will be turned out. So what you will do, you will go to the railways, hand over the vehicle for transportation. Now, if you look at the procedures over there, the moment you get into Indian railways, the jurisdiction, there's a permission. You have to make an entry in the security. Like now, what goods have brought, where is the ownership, for what purpose, personal, what is the declared value, what is the insurance you have, what is the ownership document you have, and to where you want to take, where is the destination, address proof, identity proof, all the information will be recorded by a security person. Then you go to a particular counter where assessment will be done. On the basis of assessment, you'll go to the next counter where you'll pay your the rent, the transportation charges. Once you pay, then you get a receipt called Toka Chitti. This Toka receipt is a document. Once the goods come at the destination, I show this Toka Chitti for getting this consignment released. Now, this is a procedure which happens in a customs area also. So this custodian records all the goods which have come for import, all the goods which have come for export. So till the goods, the vessel leaves out of India, till the goods are permitted by the proper officer for payment of customs duty, whatever happens in case of pilferage, etc., it will be the responsibility of the custodian to pay the corresponding duty. So any goods which are pilfered in the supervision of custodian, the importer will not pay customs duty, rather it will be a burden on the custodian. Import procedures. There's one provision called Authorized Economic Operator, AEO. This I'll explain. Examination, little important. There's a concept called payment of duty. This is connected with another provision called electronic cash ledger. And there's one more provision called deferment of duty by Authorized Economic Operator, AEO. Now, payment of duty in case of imports, in case of exports. Any importer who imports, who files bill of entry, any exporter who files his shipping bill or bill of export has to make a payment called payment of duty. This payment of duty has to be made mandatorily by a form called electronic cash ledger. 30th November 2022, there was one amendment made to this mandatory payment, where they say that there is an exclusion for mandatory payment of duty through electronic cash ledger. Like you have GST, most of you have seen GST provisions. When I have to pay my GST, I deposit cash into my GST login. I deposit cash into my GST login, where on the basis of my cash availability, I use it for payment of customs duty. So here in relation to customs also, they say any importer or exporter using his IEC code, he has to deposit money into electronic cash ledger. From there, the customs duty appropriation will happen. Now, there was an amendment made on 30th November 2022 to say that in case of personal baggage, no need to have this electronic payment cash ledger. That means to say, when you are making the payment of duty through cash, electronic cash ledger, no need to pay using this electronic cash ledger because you don't have IEC. Personal baggage is personal. So this is one exception. Second, any duty by way of interest or penalty, then also I need not have electronic cash ledger. Now, interest and penalty only at the time of assessment I have to pay. For that reason, they say I don't need to have a electronic cash ledger. This is second point. Third point, they say any other payment, like example, say provisional assessment or payment under protest. Now, these are the cases where I need not have electronic cash ledger. In case of provisional assessment, the authority is yet to determine. So I'll make the ad hoc deposit on the basis of demand from a assessing officer. This is one amendment which happened on 30th November. Expect a 2-mark theory question from your examination. Expect a 2-mark theory question from examination. Then there is one more concept called deferment of duty. As on today, as per customs provisions, the public authorities and people who are designated as persons who are designated as AEO. This is on the basis of a criteria. That means you are a 5-star rating exporter or importer. Now, this is on the basis of your turnover, on the basis of customs duty you paid. Assume for a moment, in a year, you have paid more than 1 crore customs duty. You have a turnover more than 100 crores. You have been enlisted with SEIO, FEIO, any of these export-import organizations. In those cases, they say you get a recognition as an authorized export operator, where you have a choice to pay once in a fortnight. Goods imported from 1 to 15, you can pay the customs duty on 16. Goods imported from 16 to 30th or 31st, you can pay on 1st. So here, as a block of 15 days, you have a provision to pay customs duty in a deferment. No need to pay on every consignment to consignment. I can accommodate all my bill of entries or shipping bills and pay customs duty in a deferment manner. This is called deferment of duty. Let me see if any doubts are there so far. So far, so good. Oh, so this is a last slide which is connected with your import related provisions. Students, with this, we come to the end of today's discussion. Considering the short topic we have another 5 minutes. If you have any questions, I will take it up. Viraj is asking this question. Sir, okay. I think this question I have answered. Viraj is asking about rental charges. Let me see if there are any questions. Srinivasan is asking a question. Sir, is AEO applicable for baggage provisions? No, Srinivas. Authorized economic operator is a mechanism where I have a IEC. For my business purpose, I have done my payment of customs duty. On the basis of my turnover, on the basis of my net worth, on the basis of customs duty I have paid, I'll be designated as an authorized economic operator. Only those people on the basis of a certain criteria, I'll be given a permission to pay once in a fortnight. This is a deferred payment of duty only for business, not otherwise. Clear? That's all. No other questions. So then till next class, just read through your valuation provisions and baggage provisions. Any doubts are there? I'll have a recap of a couple of problems in the next class. That is on, I guess Tuesday, 28th, we are going to have our next session. Till then, good night, goodbye.